even though getting gas is not always something that you do, like, you help me out. Like, 'cause like we said
Right.
earlier, things are gonna change from week to week, and
Mhm.
there's always gonna be times where one person is gonna need help, and because they're just overwhelmed with, other things that they are responsible for, or other things they're doing. So it's like you have to, again, going back to communicating, you have to then communicate what you need to your partner.
Mhm.
And that's also a good way to manage your time, because if I communicate, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z for me, I know you don't normally do X, Y, and Z, but if you can do X, Y, and Z for me, that now frees up this time. So when I get home, I have this time, and now I
And you
have
weren't rushing.
right. I'm not rushing to do this, and now I can actually get home at a decent time, and we can
Mhm.
actually have the potential, if things actually go as planned, for me to get home at this time, we spend time together.
Yep.
So
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After I
doo doo
Do.
doo doo doo.
I'm your host Nisha G, and I'm here with my lovely co-host and husband and life partner and boo
Confidant,
thing. Yeah,
confidant, your source of annoyance,
sure.
your petty patty,
No, you're
your
you're
me,
the reason for my pity patty.
your messy Betty,
Yeah.
your husband
Yeah.
Molito.
Mhm.
Hey, babe.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, boo.
Hi.
You look pretty tonight.
Thank you.
You want
I
to go somewhere else
I
after
hope
this?
I hope I look better than I feel.
You feel good. Well,
I mean,
never mind.
I don't I don't feel the greatest right now. My fatigue is like probably an
Oh my
8.9
God,
right now.
I'm a woman. Hear me or
And
you're gonna
good
hear me or.
goodbye. Goodbye. But yes, I am happy to be here. Back for another episode. This is episode what, 8?
I think it's 9.
I think it's
I
8.
can't remember.
I want to say it's 8.
We'll figure it
Episode
out.
8, yeah. Pretty sure. How's your week?
Exhausting.
Yeah. Why?
I worked 60 hours, 6 days.
Yep. Welcome to the club.
Okay, the club, huh?
Welcome to the club.
Uh,
It's actually been a rough week for the household in general. It's been a rough week for me as well.
it's only been
Um,
a rough week for Phoenix because she can't do what she want to do. She ain't
yeah,
tired.
but she's a whole thing and a half.
She's a mess.
But yeah, you've been working a lot and I've been over here working a lot and we've kind of missed each other a lot. I've only seen you for a few hours in the morning and pretty no time at night.
37 minutes a night.
Yeah, and that's been kind of rough too because I haven't been feeling the greatest and so I've been wanting to like
You want somebody to baby you.
talk and cuddle and
You want somebody to baby you.
not baby
You want to
me.
be nurtured. You want to be loved on.
I wanted to be loved on, but then I also understood that, you were super, super tired.
Tired.
And normally you're really good about like giving me my little hour, 30 minutes, like
I didn't
I
have
don't
it. I
normally
didn't.
complain.
This week I didn't have it in me.
I don't normally complain, but I had to say something this week
I
because
didn't have it.
I feel like I was really needy this
I
week.
didn't have it in me this week.
I know.
We just wasn't on the same page,
Nope,
and
we
that's
weren't.
fine. That's life.
Yeah, and it happens because we were not on the same page this week. He was tired and exhausted. I was tired and exhausted, and I was very like I hate saying it like that, like needy, but I just really needed to
No,
be under
no. Say
him.
it. Say it again. Say it again. So
I
you were what?
cut it out. I
You
just
were you.
wanted to be with my
No, you were
husband.
what?
I wanted to be with my
And
husband.
you were very what?
I wanted to be with my husband.
And you were very
I needed my
needy.
husband.
Okay, say it with me, people.
I needed my
Needy.
husband.
You were being extremely what?
Needed my husband.
Okay.
So, and I just really wanted to be under you. And I just kind of felt like I needed a little bit of like bubble time. And it just makes it a little bit more difficult when I know it's not even possible to get bubble time. But whatever, I digress. But yes, it
And I knew
happens.
all that. I felt you needed all that when you came to bed in that moo I said, "Oh, she won't."
Goodbye. When I came to bed in the moo like even last night, like we were just kind of like we didn't spat last night, but it was like you were
No,
kind of
you spat.
you kind of like got on my nerves, and I
You
know I got
you
on your
spat,
nerves.
and I had the energy to fight back.
No, that was not it at all. Stop trying to act like you're
I
so damn
dodged.
nonchalant.
I
You're
dodged.
not.
Oh, I'm not nonchalant. I got a
You
temper.
cut it out.
I
But,
got a
yeah,
I throw daggers.
I kinda, like, just came downstairs just to be in my own company
It was great. It
because
was
you were getting
quiet.
on my
You
nerves,
left, it
and
got
she was getting on
quiet,
my
it
nerves.
got dark, and I was able to fall right to sleep. Sometimes that little argument, the little disagreement we had, it didn't go good for you or me, but I really did benefit from that because I got some good sleep last night, only to be tired today from work again. But last night I got good sleep because you left me be, and I appreciate that.
And then what did you do this morning?
I went to the gym.
When you came home this morning,
I went to the gym.
and then your first interaction with me this
It
morning,
was a good
what did
morning.
you do?
Good morning.
And then after that was what?
Oh, I said I apologize for not being the
Uh-huh.
husband you
No,
needed
you
this week.
apologized for being an asshole.
I wasn't an asshole last
That's what
night.
you apologized for. He apologized for being an
I
asshole.
wasn't an
He was
asshole.
trying to take accountability for being an asshole.
Why
Okay.
are you getting loud though?
And regardless of your ass holiness, I still love you.
I wasn't being an asshole. And I just
Okay.
I didn't apologize for being an asshole. I apologize for not being there because I recognized that you needed me and I didn't have it to give.
Well, I
So I
appreciate that.
apologize for not being the husband you needed this week.
I appreciate that. I really
But
do.
life was beating me the F up
I
this week.
know. I know.
I didn't have it in me.
That's why I cut you a little bit of slack.
Sometimes.
But last night I just was like, you know what?
But last night wasn't about me. Last night was the culmination of my daughter getting on your nerves and you took it out on me.
No, I didn't.
That's what that was.
It was a combination of both.
No.
You
I
both.
didn't do nothing.
You
I didn't do
both.
You don't wanna recap last night, what
No,
happened last night.
no, you both. But nonetheless, I
You
love
don't
you
wanna recap
all.
what happened was last night because you were in the wrong what you
What?
were doing.
What I do?
But then, somehow you got mad at me.
What did I
It's cool,
do?
it's cool.
No,
No, but let's get into
no.
it.
I want to know what did I do,
Let's get into it.
babe. You have to tell me because I I am genuinely curious as to what you're referring to because I what?
You know what you did, let's get into it.
No, I we're not gonna get into anything until you tell me because I'm genuinely curious. I don't know what you're
You
referring
were
to.
mad at me because I wasn't interacting with you at
Oh,
the
because I felt like you were ignoring me.
I wasn't ignoring you.
I
I just didn't have the energy to talk about what you wanna talk about. So you said something and I said, "Okay." Like, I listened to you, but I had no rebuttal, and then you got mad at me.
I didn't want a rebuttal, but I did want some
I had no
interaction.
interaction to give.
I know, but
And you got mad at the fact
I
that I didn't
didn't
react to whatever story you were I can't even remember what the story was. That's how tired I was.
I didn't
All
get
I
mad that
know
you didn't
Listen,
react.
all I know is that your mouth was moving
Oh my
and
gosh.
you were saying something to me that wasn't necessarily important in the moment. You were just telling me about something you either had seen or heard or watched that day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to close my eyes.
I know. And I got that.
And all I literally you said what you said, and all I said was, okay. And then you flipped the switch
No,
like
and
I was being
that's why I just left. I was just like, you know,
so I wasn't being an asshole.
Imma
I just
just
wasn't
well, it wasn't just
hold
that.
on, hold
No,
on,
don't
hold
try to
on,
make it seem like it
hold
was
on,
just that
hold
instant.
on,
Oh
hold
gosh.
on. I wasn't being an asshole. I
Okay.
wasn't interacting with you in a manner in which you would have liked me to.
Okay, but it
And
wasn't
the
just that.
okay, let's get into it, babe. We're not gonna argue on camera.
It's not an
Let's
argument.
go. We not
It's a difference of
the
opinion.
people are here for the topics. Okay,
It's a difference
they're
of
not here for.
this is real life. That I hope that's what you come here for every week because this is real life. And the whole point of doing this is so that people understand like we not finna get on the interwebs and sit up here and lie and try to make it seem like we something we ain't. That's what's not finna happen.
I
This
mean,
is
we
real
are
life.
married.
We just had a disagreement before we started rolling the camera. Like this is real life. This is life after I do. It is not peaches and cream. It is not just
Who
happily ever
eats peaches
after.
and
I
cream?
don't know, okay? But you know what I mean. Like
I'll take a
it
strawberry
ain't like
shortcake.
always sweet is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Shit ain't sweet.
But that does take us into today's
That's gonna be the title
topic.
episode. Shit ain't sweet.
That does take us into today's topic and we are going to be talking about like time management within your marriage. And I think this was perfect, especially coming off of
The
just
week we
like
had.
the week we had. Like, The week we had was just
It was
so,
rough.
I don't
It was
know what
rough.
it was about this week, but this week was just really rough. You weren't home. I was here dealing with everything with the house, dealing with her, going back and forth, running the errands, doing the groceries, cooking, like, and then you not being there, us missing each other, me missing you, you not having time. It was just like this week was a really really rough week, and I think the topic for this week is perfect.
I also feel like the times where I had the energy to, like, cuddle with you and all that stuff,
I didn't have the energy.
we had a child in the middle.
Yeah. Well, but see, and then that's the thing too, is because just how I miss you, she misses you
Oh, yeah.
too. And just like how you said earlier today, you're like, I'm never home. Like, especially this past
I
week,
was
I feel
not
like
home
I
this
was
week.
never home. You didn't really get to see us. And so that's why, like, we went out to lunch yesterday, while he was on his lunch break, and we met up with him to go have lunch, just have lunch as a family, and she like loved it. You know what I mean? It's like time is
Nah,
really important.
she just scared me to get that lollipop.
I
That's all she
mean,
want.
whatever it was, and but she texted you like twice because she's obsessed with texting right now. But I had to cut that out because she don't know what she doing, and it's
'Cause she texted me something, I said, "What?" She
Wh-
said something about, "Dad, did you smack my mom?" I said, "What are you talking about?"
it's she tries. But anywho, like time management within your marriage, prioritizing quality time, effective household and family management, and managing your work life balance. Everybody goes through it.
Mm,
Everybody goes through the whole trying to balance work and home. If
it
you
ain't
ask
easy.
me, I don't really think that there is this perfect formula to balancing work and home. I don't.
'Cause it's gonna change every week.
Right. It's just like the whole 50-50 relationship thing. There's no such thing as true 50-50. Just like I don't think that there's a such thing as like true, well balanced, like home life and work life.
I mean,
Because
unless you rich.
no,
I mean, 'cause I mean, if I didn't have to go to work, I could give you most of my time.
but then what are you doing to collect the money that doesn't, you know what I mean?
Hey, don't
Like,
worry about that.
okay.
The money there.
But anywho, trying to balance work and trying to balance family, and then also trying to balance like time for yourself. Like I told you today, even today, I was talking to him on the phone, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I just want some meatball soup." And I want to get in the bed with the air conditioner on and a heat pack on my back and turn on the Jeffersons. And I want to close my bedroom door and be by myself.
Lady Ray got you in a
Like,
chokehold, huh?
I just want to be in the bed, and I just want to be in the bed with soup and lay down, and I just don't want anybody to call me. I don't want anybody to like
What?
I don't want anybody to come into the room. Like I just want to be by myself.
You
Like is
don't
that so hard to ask?
you don't wanna hear, "Mom, mom,
Oh gosh.
mom, I'm trying to talk to you."
Okay, I just have a question. Like but it's hard. It's hard. Like you get like boggled down mentally, and then of course that affects like your
Everything.
everything and your physical. I will say, what's helped is the couple of times that I've gone to the gym. That always helps because the dopamine and the endorphins and stuff like that, and getting out, and then it also creates that time that I can get to myself. um
See,
but
I don't even feel like the gym is time to myself. I feel like the gym to me right now is, something I have to do to maintain a certain level of health.
well, but it's also still time to yourself,
No,
like.
because 'cause I'm in there fighting with motherfuckers for machines, so I'm not really
Oh, I
focused.
don't fight with anyone for machines.
I'm not really to myself.
But I just think, it's really important that we prioritize quality time, not only with our families, but also with ourselves.
And I think, like, for instance, like, this week, it's gonna be different all the time. Like, this week, it was just a rough week, but I didn't even I think I was so tired every day that I didn't even, like, I was conscious of us not spending time together, like, during the day,
Mhm.
but when I came home from work, I was just like, "I'm just trying to shower and sleep."
Yeah.
Like, I don't even wanna eat. Just let me just let me sleep. At this point, just let me sleep. Because you saw I was walking in like a zombie most nights, like,
Yeah.
just happy to make it home. But I do think, like, it is something that, that needs to be planned out and, um, scheduled. So, I don't know if you saw the purchase I made today.
I did, and I was really curious about it. And thank you for bringing it back up because it came across my phone and I was like, damn, did we get identity theft again? And then I was like, no, it said it came from your card. So I was like, I'll just ask him about it later.
So I said, I'm gonna take you to the gun range.
That should be fun. Like as soon as it
So
came across, I was like, firearm. I was like, he must have bought ammo or something. And I thought you bought it just to like stock up or something.
I bought it so I can take you to the range.
Oh, that makes me happy. Not only do
I'm
I
gonna
love
wait till
going
next
to the
week though. I'm gonna
range,
wait till after you done with your situation over there because I don't even know.
not only do I like going to the range, but I like going to the range with my hun buns.
What? Hun buns?
Yeah, because now
Don't
I'm
call me that.
because now I'm happy.
Don't call me that. Don't call me that.
Now I'm happy, so I gotta call you my hun buns.
Don't call me. No, keep going. Let's go. Oh my god.
So yeah, so like we said, it's really important for you to be mindful of like creating that space, not just for each other, but like family and things like that. Um, something that we have not done in a while, and we've talked about this in previous episodes. Some of the things that you can do is creating like date nights or nights out, with friends or whatever, to just kind of break up the monotony of like daily life and things like
Mhm.
that. So I've
I mean,
noticed
we had a night out. We had a night with friends planned out, and then
we did, and it got canceled.
got
Yeah,
somebody
it
got
got canceled.
hit by Rona.
But it's, the things like that kind of give you something to look forward to. Like when we had the whole plan that we were going to hang out with our friends, we had a whole Saturday night, we had a sitter for our daughter. Those are things that give me something to look forward to. Like even just now, how he said, he was like, did you see my purchase? Like, I'm going to take you to the gun range. Like, I instantly got happy. That's why I called you my hun buns, because now I have something to look forward to, and now I also know that I get to look forward
And
to
if you
some alone time with
and
you.
if you act right, I'll take you to Hot Pot before.
What? Doesn't take much to put a smile on my face.
I don't know what it is with you and soup.
I
Soup from any
know, and
culture.
and I really shouldn't be eating soup.
You love soup.
And you know what your daughter came home and asked for
Soup,
today? She asked for,
because she just like you. Soup.
but just carving that time out is so important. I can't stress how crucial that is. It gives you a time to reconnect. It gives you a time to have conversation that doesn't involve the things that you're going to talk about all the time. We always talk about the bills. We always talk about, the family life, the schedule. What shopping are you doing this week? Or she
And we
needs
talk about
this,
that thing.
or she needs this, or the fees are due for this, or she has to be here and I got to go
Ugh.
here. Like the
You
mundane
are triggering me.
the mundane can take you out.
Yeah.
Like the stress about even just the mundane things, like it can be stressful. Schedules are good. Don't get me wrong. I like having a schedule
You are
because
a list person.
yeah, I'm a list person. I like having a schedule because then there's like no guessing. You know what I mean? I also don't like to sit at home and be like, well, I got a 4-hour gap. What should I do? Like
I'm taking a nap.
you tried that. Um remember? You couldn't.
Sometimes it works.
But even in the times where you can't have just that actual time carved out where you can be away, doing other things like creating technology free zones and focusing on each other, having conversations. It's really just about the reconnecting.
And I think what's important too, and another easy way is the interacting at meal times. Like
Yeah.
if we're eating breakfast, we're all sitting down eating breakfast. We're
Yeah.
no one's on their phone. We're gonna talk together. If we're eating dinner together, we're gonna eat dinner together.
Yeah.
There's no social media, nothing like
And especially because it
nothing like
doesn't
that.
happen often where we get to do like sit down
Well,
and have dinner
we
during the
do.
week.
Well, no, we do dinner together on the
Right.
weekends.
On the
That's yeah.
weekends.
But we do
But during
breakfast together every day.
and yeah,
Yeah.
but in during the week, like
No.
that's just not it's not
But I mean,
feasible.
we do a good job of talking to each other throughout the day. So
Yeah,
it's not
but
like
it's not the same.
'cause
Like
I get it because we're not face to
because we're
face.
not face to face, we're not in each other's presence, but it's a different. I always feel like I get a different version of my partner when we're like one on one. Like I get a little bit different version of you
Well, yeah,
when
because
you're more in a relaxed
yeah,
setting
because I'm
and
not worried about what's going on at work. I'm not worrying about, what may have happened here or there. I'm literally in a space to where all I have to do is just be with my wife and make sure that she's comfortable.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm in a whole different mindset. I'm literally sitting down with less responsibility on my mind.
Right.
So yeah, so you're going to get a different version of me because I'm in a different setting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not. It's not like saying like I changed who I am. It's just like in certain settings, I can let some guards down and be
And you can be
more
more relaxed.
right.
So, using this week like as an example, what could you have, like, looking back, and I'll do this for myself too, but looking back on this week, what do you think you could have done differently as far as
If I would have just paid a little more attention and said something like something besides okay to your conversation last night, if I would have just did that, if I would have just interjected, if I could have found one nugget of what you're talking about that piqued my interest and replied and engaged in conversation, you most likely would have been happy, and
yeah,
it would have only took about 10 seconds out of my day.
yeah,
That would have changed your whole week.
yeah, yeah,
Because
you're right.
I think, like I said, I think because of the situation around everything last night, the lack of time together, the the way our daughter was behaving yesterday, y the changes your body go through, I think everything just hit a spearhead at once, and it was just like and you were just done. Because it was like, when I thought about what the exchange between us, I was like, it really wasn't nothing that was that big of a deal,
It really wasn't.
but
Not at all.
when I think about okay, when if I think about her day and how it accumulated to that point, she just erupted, and it's like I'm the one I took the hit, and I was like, "Okay," like, but I understood what it was, that's why I didn't hold it against you, but it's like, I understand, like, if I would've just said, "Oh, wow, babe, that's crazy, did what else about this, or what else about that?" You would've lit up
Like, if
because
you would have just faked it.
right, right, but again, I didn't have the energy to fake it. I know that my wife is a talker, and if I can engage her in conversation, she will talk to me about something that I probably don't give 2 F's about for 2, 3 hours, and sometimes I fake it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wow, babe, that's crazy. Oh, what?
That's crazy.
What? He said she didn't have no nipple?" Nah, but
Bye.
it's like, sometimes I'm like, "Babe, I'm tired. I don't
And I
have."
get it. And I think for me, I try to always be understanding when it comes to that, like especially the way you work sometimes. I really do my best to try to be understanding and to try not to add more to your plate, especially when I'm in an emotional state where I just really feel like I just need some time with you. And that's how it was for me this week. I just really needed time with you, and I could have done a little bit better too at carving out the time for us to have together, or carving out maybe even some more time, like just for myself. And granted, before, because I get this too, people always say like, but you stay at home, like you get time to
No, she
yourself.
busy.
I do not get time to myself like
She
that.
she
Like
busy.
like every once in a while, and I mean every once in a while, there may be some times where I don't have like an errand to run or do something for the house, or something doesn't need to be cleaned, and I could probably just sit down and watch like an
And
episode of The
and
Jeffersons or In the Heat of the Night.
in your defense, I do tell you some days, like, "Babe, just chill, like, don't do nothing today, like, you'll do it tomorrow."
But you know
But
what's
then you be like, "If I don't do it today, it's
it
just gonna pile
it's
up,"
just gonna pile up.
and I'll be like, "Okay." Like
Because
I told you, you could just chill today, like, I get it, like,
yeah,
I don't expect everything to be, like, spotless every day, like, you can take a day off, like,
I
I
know.
get it, but, like, you be like, "No, I gotta do it." I said, "Okay.
But
Well,
yeah,
Imma go here and lay down while you do that."
because I know that it's just gonna make it worse for me later.
Just well, I
That's
mean,
why.
don't worry, she's sick. In 2 more years, we gonna put her to work. She
But
gonna know she got 2 more years of freedom.
um so you know, practicing active listening with your partner is also really important. Like how he reflected on the interaction that we had last night, and he came to me after having a reflection, and it's like, okay, I apologize because I recognized that this is what you needed in that moment, and I couldn't give that to you, right? And for me, I appreciate that because I didn't necessarily, before I left and like went downstairs to try to have time to myself, I didn't really verbally communicate to you how I was feeling at that time. right? And I could have just simply said
No,
to
oh,
you,
but you physically
exactly.
communicated it
Yes,
very well.
I showed it,
Very well.
but I could have also done a better job at verbally communicating, this is what I need from you in this moment. Like this is what I'm asking for. But again, that goes back to just what we're talking about is like making time for each other and making time for yourself. Making time for yourself that you can get yourself back into like a ground level. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Getting yourself back to a ground level, doing the things that make you happy, so it's not just entirely your responsibility to like make me feel okay because I'm in a needy attitude. So like going, like I said, what the couple of times I went to the gym this week, that was also a way for me to kind of mediate
mhm.
what I felt like I was wanting and needing from you. I was like, okay, well, I can't just sit here and just be like, "Ugh," I'm upset because I haven't had time with my husband or he's not showing me the type of attention that I want. But let me go ahead and feed myself. Let me go ahead and do the things that I know that brings me joy that I
Right.
also enjoy doing.
But it
And going to the gym is one of them.
but it's also on me, regardless of how much I'm working or what I'm doing, to be able to look at my partner and say, "Okay, well, she needs a little something from me tonight." Like,
Yeah.
like, because granted, like, I mean, when I came home a little earlier on Wednesday, we could have watched the movie or something together. Like,
Yeah.
I had I mean, I was still tired and I had the time, but like, though I know that my body is set up to give me 5.5, 6 hours of sleep no matter what time I fall asleep. It
Hmm.
just ain't gonna happen. So like I came home early, I went to bed early, but then I ended up waking up like 2 hours early.
Yeah.
So it's like I understand that, yeah, I could have probably you probably would have cut the movie on. I probably would have fell asleep halfway through the movie, but we would have at least had something where we can say, okay, well, we at least attempted to do this.
And sometime
So
where we could have cuddled
yeah,
and stuff like that. Because
you don't cuddle fair though.
I need a good cuddle sesh.
You don't cuddle fair.
Another aspect to time management within your marriage is effective household and family management. Effectively, like managing your household, right? So that includes like delegating responsibilities, assigning tasks and chores to help things
What
kind
are
of like move along. So I know for me, since I'm inside the house, um, to help with me and my attitude sometimes so that I don't get into this like, "Arr," when she comes home, like you've heard me with her, I'm getting very, very big on her doing more as far as not necessarily chores, like she takes out the cans and stuff, that's like her responsibility, but making sure she does little things like putting her bowl away, teaching her how to clean her bowl, like all of those little
pick up
things.
her toys?
Pick up her toys, pick up her clothes, clean, like, she
'Cause
cleans
she
her
thinks she
room.
got servants around here.
Right. Clean her room. She picks up her room, but teaching her how to actually clean up her room so that I don't feel like I have to go behind her,
Right.
go behind you, clean up the house, do this. It becomes a lot. It becomes a lot for
I
me.
mean, you don't have to really go behind me. I mean, I know I come home hold
It's
on,
so
hold
funny you
on.
think that.
I know I come home and whatever I have for lunch that day, I kinda just leave it in the sink. I leave it there because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, this ain't part of my duties."
Or you eat breakfast and then you leave your cup or something on the table.
I
And I
I
go
be trying
behind you
I
and
be
I
trying
pick
to
it up off the table and
see,
I wash it.
I be trying to get better at that, but I'm like, she don't complain about it, so I think she likes doing it, so
I know the hell you didn't just say that. She don't complain about it, so I just
you
think she
don't complain about
she
it.
likes doing it. I
You
don't complain about it, but that doesn't necessarily mean I like doing
but if you're
it.
not complaining about it, in my mind, you don't mind.
Okay, no, that's
You're not
no.
effectively communicating to me
No,
what you
you
need.
are an adult male. You should know that when you get up from the table, pick your cup and your plate up,
And
sir.
my wife has been taking great care of me where I didn't
Goodbye.
have to do that.
Goodbye. Okay, well, I'm telling you now.
Like, it's just like it's like how you don't get gas. I don't always put my plate up.
Yeah, but I had to get gas the other day.
I mean, no, you got gas over there because I asked you to because it would help me. I said,
See?
"Hey,"
Now
I
I'm
said,
telling you,
"Hold
pick
on,
up your
hold
cup
on,
because it'll
hold
help
on.
me.
Don't act like don't be over here capping.
Uh,
You are already at Sam's Club doing the grocery shopping." And I said, "Hey, babe, I got to get gas for my car, so it
mhm.
would really help me if you got gas for your car today, so I don't have to get up early to take both cars
And I
tomorrow.
was like, "Really? Like, I just did the grocery shopping, and now you want me to sit in the gas station line
I mean,
and touch these dirty handles
you had
and pump my own gas?
you had a 3-hour gap while my daughter was at
What is the
gymnastics.
world coming to?"
Lord forbid you be independent for once.
Goodbye.
I figured it'd be okay because I wasn't there, so your wrist wasn't broken. They were working.
Mm-mm. No, they were still broke, but I did
But
what I had to
again,
do.
that's like you're talking about delegating tasks and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
even though getting gas is not always something that you do, like you help me out. Like, cause like we said
right.
earlier, things are going to change from week to week, and
Mhm.
there's always going to be times where one person is going to need help, and one because they're just overwhelmed with other things that they are responsible for, or other things they're doing. So it's like you have to, again, going back to communicating, you have to then communicate what you need to your partner. And
Mhm.
that's also a good way to manage your time, because if I communicate, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z for me, I know you don't normally do X, Y, and Z, but if you can do X, Y, and Z for me, that now frees up this time. So when I get home, I have this time. I now
And you
have
weren't rushing.
Right. I'm not rushing to do this, and now I can actually get home at a decent time, and we can
Mhm.
actually have the potential, if things actually go as planned, for me to get home at this time, we spend time together.
Yep.
So it's like sometimes you have to work together and do things that you normally wouldn't do in order to create an environment to where you can both still be in the same environment at one time.
Yep. Agree. So that kind of goes into a form of trying to create work-life balance.
It's impossible.
It's I mean, I don't think there's anything that exists where your home life is equally as balanced as your work life. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But creating a work life and home life balance that suits you and your family, that is what's important.
I think for us currently, I think it's kind of hard because I know that, hey, I have to do X amount of hours in order to maintain what we got going on.
Hmm.
And a lot of times that doesn't work with what's going on. So I'm missing practices, I'm missing events, I'm showing up late to things. I'm like, trying to squeeze in things here and there. So it's not really a balance. Like it's almost kind of like I have to choose, like, do I get the hours or am I present? A type thing. So, and I do pick and choose what I attend and what I don't attend. And I try to do it based off of what's gonna, have the least amount of impact on the day to day. But at the end of the day, like, creating that balance can be and will be a difficult thing, but it's not something. I'm not saying it's unattainable, but when in my situation, I feel like when being the sole income, it's like I can't sacrifice too much time because I still have all the weight of the household on me. And yeah, dad wants to be present at everything. Lord knows I want to be present at everything. I want to see her do everything. But it's like at this point in the dynamic that we have now, that's not a luxury that I have, but I hope like you appreciate and she understands that dad does this so that mommy can be at everything. Dad does this so you can be at everything. And I understand that you want dad there because at the end of the day, I understand that the best thing I can give our daughter is my time
Hmm.
because I see how she lights up when she gets time with me. But I hope she understands that dad did this so that you can have X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
you know? So, like, um that dynamic is, it's gonna be a hard one, And, like, even with the whole, like, you know, the balance for self-care, working the way I've been working, especially this time of year, like, I don't really have time, for self-care,
Yeah.
but I try to make it where I have the resources in place so that you guys are not as stressed, because I understand that this time of year can be stressful on you guys because it's, with all the holidays and the events and all the school stuff and all this yada yada yada.
And
It's
her
like
added curricular
right.
activity.
And with the dance practices and the gymnastics practices, like I understand that it takes a toll on all of us because
Hmm.
even when I look at her schedule, like for a 6-year old, she has a pretty hefty schedule
Yeah.
for a 6-year old. And it's like granted, like we kind of like orchestrated it so it'd be that way. So she couldn't like she had to be very, very focused and detailed in her actions. But even, like, in the terms of her, like, the balance, it's very hard for even her to get balance because when you think about it, the only free days she has to
It's
herself
like a Thursday.
is like Thursday afternoon, but she's still doing homework.
Yeah.
So, like, the only days where she doesn't have to do anything like dance, gymnastic, or school related is, like, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, she literally
Right
she
now,
right,
until she goes to
right,
competition.
she gets the weekends off, and then,
Yeah.
like but Monday through Friday, like, she's, like, hustling, bustling, and I get, like, it could take a toll, and then, like, with you, like, you never get a day off because you're mom, you're in the house 24/7, you're responsible for the house, and it's like you're constantly doing things like, yeah, granted, you're not responsible for meals on the weekend, but
Yeah.
you're still like, because 9 times out of 10, Phoenix is gonna say, "Mom, mom," I mean, I could be sitting here doing nothing. Mom, can
It's
you?"
like you got a whole father over there.
Mom, can you?" But it's like, if she needs something, she goes to mom, so
Yeah.
mom doesn't get a break. Dad just, "I'm here to play."
Yeah,
She sh
that's
she
when she's
used
in the mood to play or be tossed around.
like that, she comes to dad.
That's where she want unless it's a rare occasion where I piss her off or I'm just
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'm not, giving in to her or she just feels some type of way about me, then she'll holler, "I want my dad." I'm like,
It
yeah,
is funny when she calls and tells on you. It's hilarious.
yeah. Just get over it.
"Dad, mom is being so mean to me."
No, you're being a little I love her. Uh, but yeah, I can see that. With me, work life,
Work
because
is your life.
right. Exactly. Because there is no clock out, there is no different scenery, there is no like separating.
No, no, there is this there is different scenery because you can program the TVs to have different scenes.
Goodbye. But you know what I mean. Like there is no
There's no
even
change
when
of
I
view.
do like my side business stuff,
Mm,
it's still here in the house. You know what I mean? I take care of the house in the house. I take a break in the house. I run a side business in the
I
house.
told you to start
Like
gardening, you'd be outside.
I'm not about to be gardening. I'm not
You'd
there
be
yet.
outside.
I'm not there yet. But that's why things like going to the gym, going to have lunch with my friends, or doing things like that is really important for me because it breaks up my everyday. It breaks up my monotony. It breaks up my schedule just a little bit, and it gives me again something to look forward to.
Right,
You know what I mean? And it's like my brain gears change when I'm able to have something to look forward to out of what I normally do.
right, and it's also partly my responsibility to ensure that you do have time to yourself.
I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
I mean, it's part of my responsibility. It's my like, I can say, "Okay, babe, I got the kid today. You go spend a couple hours to yourself, get your feet done, get do what you wanna do. Go get your, $27 acai bowl."
FYI, I got one today, but
Oh,
I don't think she charged me like she normally did because I got Phoenix
well,
a smoothie too, and it was like the cost of the acai bowl. So
all I know is them things cost. But anyway, like, it's my job, it's not I'm gonna say job, but it's my role to provide you with those spaces. Like, sometimes I understand, just like life can be overwhelming for me, it can also be overwhelming for you. So I understand that this is something that I need to schedule into our lives so that you get a chance to reset like how I want to reset before the week starts.
and you've done that before. Like you used to do it quite often, especially on the weekends, but as she's gotten busier
We've
and
gotten
the
busier.
dynamic has
Yeah.
changed between us, it's just been like, I don't know, maybe you just haven't thought about it or like, or
I'm just
what.
trying to sleep on
And
that.
then for me, from my perspective, because I see how tired you are all the time, I don't feel comfortable always just like getting up and being like, "Hey, so yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but sometimes you be like, I'm gone.
y'all gonna be here together for like a few hours, you
Sometimes
know?"
you be like, I'm gone. I'm out.
I have done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have done
And
that. But then and you've called me like,
yeah, I mean,
"So, babe,
that's like when you've been gone like 4 or 5 hours. I'm like, hey, this wasn't planned.
so enough is enough,
So
and you can
what's
come
going?
back home."
Because I'm your daughter. Yes. But like I thought about that, like, before COVID and all that, like, we had our daddy daughter Saturdays, and
Those were really cool.
we were doing something every Saturday, and it's always something it's something I always say I want to start back up and do with her. Because we used to every Saturday morning I would either take her to the park, or we would go like to a movie, or we would go to a store, like get her something. Like we just it just
It
be
was your
me.
time
It was
together.
just me and her, and then we'd go get some food and an activity,
Mhm.
and it would just vary. And we'd go out together, 4 or 5 hours together, and you had that time to the house to yourself to do whatever you chose to do. And I know I understand that that's not something that I've done recently, but I know that when I was doing that, that was your time to kind of like, okay, take your breath. You're not worried about it because back then she wasn't leaving for school. Back then she was
Right.
here with you
Right.
all the time. So
Yeah,
that was my
because I did
way.
homeschool.
Right, because that was my way of that was my way of trying to help you, and that was also, like, so that's also reflected in, like, the time management and the balance because that was me trying to, "Hey, okay, let me carry this load of parenthood solo for these couple of hours and give my wife some reprieve." So,
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, it's really about being intentional about the time you have with your partner, being intentional about the actions that you have in your marriage. We all go through those periods where it's like we start feeling disconnected. You getting on my nerves, but it's not really you getting on my nerves. It's just because I love and miss you so
no,
much
you get
and
on my
I'm
nerves.
I'm going through so much and I just want to be around you and we don't know how to get back to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's why it's really important to communicate with your words. Note to
mm,
myself.
right.
Communicate with your words and communicate to your partner what it is that you're needing in the moment. I feel like we say it like all the time. I feel like every episode has been that, but it really truly is like when you've been together with the person for so long, you have to get to a place where you don't feel like bad or selfish communicating what you need and what you
And it's
want.
weird that you would think that, you know, being 20 plus years in as we are, we wouldn't feel that way, but I understand, like, we still feel that way, like, "Okay, hold on, let me
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
I'm doing the most
Right.
by requesting time to myself, I'm doing the most, like
Especially
yeah.
especially when I see that you've done all this and you're doing like, like I said, like I've seen that you've put in 60 hours this week, but nonetheless, I still had an attitude like,
You didn't care.
okay,
You didn't care.
and I still need time too.
Yeah.
And because you for the most part have always been good about that, it's like it's almost like for lack of better verbiage, I get spoiled because
No, you
when you
are
when you
spoiled.
don't when you
You
don't,
are
then I'm like,
spoiled.
okay, sir,
Look here,
sir, I'm gonna need some
as
time.
as a husband and a father, I've realized that I have spoiled my daughter and my wife, and it's my fault. I've
I
spoiled
mean,
them. 'Em. They're spoiled.
it is what it is. But I like, like I want to be spoiled more in time. But now that I know that I have a date to look forward to with my hun buns,
It's gonna cancel. You
so
keep calling me humble, I'm cancel.
so excited.
I'm gonna call up a friend. It's gonna be a boys trip. Keep calling me humble. That'll be the boys trip.
Okay, so let's move it along into one of my new favorite segments.
What is it, babe?
Our 2 cents.
Okay.
Reaction time. All right, guys.
It's
Here
on
we
your
go.
side.
Here we go. Problem alert.
Oh
Need
Lord.
input. I'm a very outspoken wife who has a very, very outspoken husband. Although our backgrounds are like night and day, I'm country, he's street. I admit I'm rough with my words. I will say what I'm thinking, and at times it's not a soft delivery. On several occasions, I have said to my husband, and I quote, "You need a much younger wife to match your interests and temperament. And I'm not, or I need to be more gentler with my husband
Does it
and
say
my
gentler?
approach."
Does it really
She
say
says gentler. Yes.
Lord?
Yes. That started World War 1000. Backstory: lots of content between us for several years of discord. I believe in being direct with words and my opinions.
Mm.
Thoughts?
Um, I would say to her that she needs to understand that as his woman, um, you can either speak positively or negatively to him. Like I would say, like, you understand, like, you can come to me with a problem or a situation and you can deliver a message to me in a way where I will 100% receive it
Mhm.
and not feel like I'm being attacked or not feel like I have to get defensive. So it seems like to me, like she's bringing her concerns, and they're most likely valid concerns. But a lot of times, just how like women don't, it's just like how women want the message to be relayed in a soft way,
Mhm.
so it's not harsh. You have to learn how to relay a message to your partner in a manner in which they can receive it.
Mhm.
So that varies by personality, right? Sometimes, sometimes, I mean, not to be vulgar, but sometimes you gotta wrap the shit in honey.
You attract more bees with honey?
You gotta wrap the shit with honey. I'm just saying. It's like sometimes you have to the delivery, and it's not like, and sometimes like don't say, a lot of times when you come with a complaint and it's you do this, you do that, it's gonna it's it when you point start with you, it's automatically gonna be negative. Because
Mhm.
as a man, I'm saying, now she complaining about something I do. I can't do shit right. It's always a problem. But if you address it with like, you know what, babe, I would like for you to do this instead of that.
Mhm.
Or I would really appreciate it if you would do this. Like if you would start if you would start your concerns with I instead of you, it's easier to be received, and you're more likely to get what you want out of that conversation, right?
Mhm.
And when you have two headstrong people, it's always going to end in conflict, because like I always said, when it comes to relationships, doesn't matter what type of relationship it is, whether it's husband, wife, or friends, right? It's give and take. And at some point, even if we don't agree with what's happening, we have to agree to disagree,
Mhm.
or someone has to succeed. Like I always say, like, for instance, like my best friend, McFly, right? We don't agree on everything, but we both have the attitude of, okay, this is more important to him than it is to me.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna succeed. Okay, it is what it is. You're right. I'm wrong. I can live with it, right? So I also apply that to us. Like sometimes, like we have an argument or a disagreement, and I can see it means way more to you
Yeah.
than what it means to me. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So like with them both being headstrong, like somebody has to succeed, right? And I also feel like if she feels like he's worthy enough to be her husband and to be a
Mhm.
leader, she needs to be softer with him and trust his judgment. Because why did you marry him if you don't trust him?
Right. Agreed. I would say first thing for me is don't be shooting out empty threats. That's the first thing I would say. When you make statements like I tell him things like you need a much younger wife to match your
Because if
interests
he
and
wouldn't got
temperament,
it,
if he was to go outside your marriage and
you'd be
go
hot.
with it, you be hot as fish grease.
Not
You
fish
would not
grease.
fish grease,
Deep
okay?
fried catfish.
Deep fried catfish. You would be hot as fish grease. So first things first, let's not make empty threats.
He was like, I was just doing what you told me to
That's
do.
just like using the divorce word. If you do not mean it, don't use things like that. You should be very mindful in how you interact with your partner, and throwing out empty threats or saying things to like purposely hurt them or saying things to get a reaction out of them
Not good.
is not good. And if you F around here and get the
Find out.
reaction that you're looking for, you're not going to be happy about it.
Not at
So
all.
I don't know what you think you gain from throwing out empty threats or making empty statements or taking little jabs, making comments like that. Second thing, I'm pretty sure it was not new to the both of them that they were the complete opposite, that he was a little bit more street, she was a little bit more country, and I'm sure that's what attracted them both to each other. She enjoyed the little rougher side probably of him, and he enjoyed the sweet country
Who
girl.
don't like a country girl?
Right, exactly. But, I don't know how long they were together before they got married or anything like that. But what I have seen is usually 9 times out of 10, the things that you saw before you married somebody were there. Like the red flags were there, the dislikes were there. All of that stuff was
Mhm.
there
Mhm.
prior to marriage, but a lot of people have this idea that marriage fixes things. They have this idea that once we get married, it's not going to bother me as much. Once we get married and he understands that he is my husband, he is
Mhm.
going to acquiesce to my demands. He is going to straighten up. He is going to be the man that I have in my mind, that I have envisioned in my mind. He is going to be that man once I say I do.
I always say that marriage is like a purchase date, like a street release date. Like, the item's not gonna change on this date.
Right,
It's just when it's released.
right.
So, I mean, it's the same thing before you purchase it off the shelf, and you gotta realize that when you enter into a relationship or a situationship or whatever it may be, you have to understand that take that person for who they show you, because people are who they are. You just have to pay attention.
Okay, fair enough. All right, next one.
Another
Why did you stop dating your wife?
many
Oh,
reasons.
okay. My husband doesn't make dating a priority in our marriage, despite my years of asking him to. So I'm curious to the husbands, why do you stop dating your wife?
Well, to this, it could be a multitude of reasons, good or bad.
Life.
Imma just start with the good ones, right? The good
Hmm.
reasons, right? Like you said, life. There's not enough funds to provide. Now I get it. A lot of women are comfortable with coffee dates, movie dates, picnics, little, inexpensive things, but a lot of men don't see it that way, right? Um, another thing is that you're not putting him in the headspace to want to date you. Like if you're causing him uh uh unrest or headaches or whatever the case may be, and you're affecting his mood negatively, he's not in the headspace to do that, right? And then a lot of times it's just we get lost in the day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? It's like this week. It's like with us. Like I didn't really comprehend until Thursday, like, oh crap, I really haven't did anything with her this week. It is Thursday. It's like, so a lot of times life just beats you down. So it's not that we always just don't want to date our wives. A lot of times we have situations outside where it makes us incapable of dating our wives.
Yeah. I think going back to my favorite word, being intentional. You have to be intentional. When you're dating and you're in the dating phase, you're very intentional about the things that you do. You're intentional about calling me during the day. You're intentional about taking me out on the weekends because you want to spend more time with me because you're courting me. You're intentional about
Smacking your butt every time you pass me.
doing things like showing you get physical affection. You're intentional about showing your interest in me,
Mhm.
right? In the courting stage and the dating stage, you are intentional about those things because it's new, it feels good. You want to portray to me like I want you to know, girl, like I'm thinking you the one,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I'm gonna pull out my best stops. Then when you get the one, and then you start building a life together, you get married, you have children, you get a career,
Oh,
you
especially
know,
children.
building a life, you buy a house, like all of those different things start coming into play, and now you don't have the tunnel vision that you did before to just focus on the goal, which
Right.
was obtaining her.
Right.
And now you have so many other things that are tunnel vision to maintain all that you have built together. So you start to lack the intention behind dating your wife.
Right.
But the same thing can be true about keeping your husband interested and
Right.
attracted, right? So when you first started dating and he was courting you, you were also intentional about how you looked. You were intentional about the perfume you wore. You were intentional about the shoes you wore.
You
You
kept
were
his
intent.
attention.
You kept his attention. You were intentional about the conversations you wanted to cultivate with him because you wanted to make sure that he was able to see different facets of you so that you could make yourself more appealing because you also thought that he was a good catch. You knew or thought that he was going to be a good provider. He had his head on straight. He was going to be a good husband. He was going to get be a good father. We do all of those things because for lack of better terms, we're trying to like catch one another,
Right.
right? I'm trying to make myself as appealing to you as possible so that you choose me, right? Because I know that being connected to you is going to benefit me in some way, and vice versa for you. You are going to do your best to make sure you stand out so that you get the opportunity to take my hand in marriage and have me as your wife because there's something in me that you see, whether it be I think she could be a good mother or she's a really great caregiver or I feel like she's going to be a great wife. This is the dynamic between man and woman,
Can I?
but you have to go back to having the intention.
Right.
And just like it's his responsibility to be intentional about dating you, it's your responsibility to be intentional about keeping your husband interested.
You know, it's like your grandma always say, the same thing that got your baby hooked,
What?
the same thing that hooked your baby is the same thing gonna take to keep your baby. Something like that. But I would also say this, like, the life of a man, a good man, right? I'm not saying all these bozos out here, but the life of a good man,
Not
like
all these
not
bozos.
these bozos, a life of a man that values his family, who values his wife, who values his kids, and wants the best for them. It is a hectic life because you're constantly thinking about the well-being of your family, and you're not always thinking about the feelings of your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm constantly thinking, okay, does my family have what they need? Do they can they get the things they want? Are they safe? Are they provided for? I'm not always thinking, how does my wife feel today? Like, does she miss me? Or how does my daughter feel today? Or how does she miss me? I'm more concerned with, do they have what they need? Are they safe where they are now? Am I providing everything I can now? And then, so as a man, we're thinking about protection and provision first. Like, that's the first thing as a good man, not a bozo. You're thinking about protection and provision first, and then you think about feelings. Then you associate the feelings in that. But once you have to cover your bases first, and so a lot of times, like, I catch myself and I'm like, okay, and I'll just let you know, okay, I haven't been speaking to my wife's love languages, right? I can acknowledge that. And a lot of times, like I've said before, like a lot of times I don't pick up on stuff until you stop doing stuff. I'm like, hold on, let me think about it. Okay, right. So this is how things moving. So a lot of times I'll call you like, hey, you should get a package tomorrow, and I just surprise her with something. Like, hey, I got you something, whatever the case may be, or hey, I got this plan for us, whatever. Like a lot of times as a man, it's not that we don't wanna date you, it's that's sometimes that's the farthest thing on our minds because we're working so hard to provide and make sure that you have the things that you need, and that sometimes in providing the physical things that you need, we lack in providing you the emotional things you need.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's just being a man.
All right. In the words of Tabitha, very good. Very good.
In the words of Uncle Shay, I'm not gonna be the bigger man.
Bye.
I'm
Ah,
not turning no sheet.
all right, guys. If you are not doing so already, please give us a follow and like
Try Jesus,
on all social medias.
don't
You can
try
follow us
me.
on Instagram at Life After I Do
'Cause I
Podcast,
throw
TikTok Life After I
hands.
Do Podcast. Like, share, and follow the
Try
Facebook
Jesus,
page. Hush, Life After I
don't
Do
try
Podcast.
me,
And as well
because
on
I fight.
YouTube, where you can watch a new episode every Wednesday on YouTube at Life After I Do
And
Podcast.
you can listen to us every
Again,
Wednesday.
every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, you get a new episode every Wednesday. Again, I am your host, Nisha G, and I'm here with my husband, Mo Lethal. And until next week,
Try Jesus.
peace.
Peace.